Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We have our first item of business tonight is financial business with donations. Dan.
I can do my report.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, you
It'll-
go ahead,
it'll be brief.
Superintendent Trado.
Then we can get.
Let's go.
we can get
She
to
was just
the-
guaranteeing how brief it was going to be.
Yeah, that's for sure. Real quick, as our student enrollment numbers have settled in, as I said, optimistically back at the start of August with our preliminary numbers, enrollment was up. We've settled back in with fluctuations, and our enrollment right now is actually at the exact same point it was a year ago today. So that's good that stability is there. Again, back in August, we were optimistic with that, but very positive news that's remained stable. Some buildings and grounds updates as I give every meeting. Our 2 outdoor learning spaces outside this building here at Fairmont Elementary School are fully completed. Our track project resurfacing and painting has been done as well. The entrance to that facility as well has a few minor items yet for completion, but is nearing its final stages. I know our activities director, Mr. Mahoney, has worked on some visually aesthetic enhancements there too, with some banners with school insignia on them to continue wrapping that up. The spectator steps entrance at the junior senior high school has a few minor items. A lot of our signage is being made, and some of the lighting on the canopy work still needs to be refined. Softball field house, Cardinal Park, the sewage lines as well as the water lines have been run to the new building. Footings are there, and they've been doing some concrete work, so exciting to see that come to life. CTE building, we are a year into that building. Still have a few items left to be addressed there. Otherwise, all the other major projects that were scheduled over the summer are completed. One other just update. Last Friday, I had the ability to attend a school law seminar hosted by Squires, Walsberger, and Mace, our school's legal representation in Minneapolis. A lot of updates and reminders on statutory and policy things that were passed in the last session. Reviewed some case law, lessons learned from MDE decisions. They provided some legal tools for responding to parents, which will lead to some policy discussion at our next week's policy discussion. One thing we'll be taking a look at is our visitor policy and some other things as well. We also continue to learn through those changes from the 2023 legislative session as we continue to get updates there and update our policies, which has been an extended process, but Julie and Jen and Nicole are on that committee and have done a great job of walking us through that to make sure our policies are up to date with those statutory changes. We're currently in the middle of homecoming week. Always a little extra energy about the building. We're definitely grateful for those locally and throughout the state and country that are Fairmont High School graduates, and those legacies that they've left come to life even more this week. So it's great to see our students embracing our school spirit with dress-up days and support for all of our activities that are going on this week. Most of our activities have been able to take place at home with a few exceptions. So if you don't have anything to do this week, check the school calendar. I know there's a soccer match in town tonight. Get out and support our kids. They put a lot of hard work and effort into that, as well as the adults in our school buildings that support them. So just an exciting week. Typically, this is the meeting we would have our student school board members report. I met with them a week ago Monday for our first check-in meeting. Jen was able to attend that meeting as well. Just a lot of positive discussion about the start of the school year. I'm not intending to speak for them, but in October they will be on the mic sharing updates from the student perspective. Then our next school board meeting is Tuesday, October 10th, right back here in the Bud Room at 5:15.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Trado? All right, then we will move on to financial business. Dan.
In Appendix A, you'll see a resolution as provided for in Minnesota statutes. Be it resolved, Fairmont Area Schools Board of Education to gratefully accept the donation of a tennis ball machine and tennis ball carts valued at $3,200 donated by Emily Weiser. and that is for the girls' tennis program. I move that we accept that generous donation.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to accept the donation from Emily Weiser. Any discussion? All right, we'll do roll call vote. Jen?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mike? Aye. Julie?
Aye.
Maury?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. All right, we will move on to financial reports and bills. Jessica?
Yes. So you have a very short 2-item wire transfer sheet in front of you. Nothing to report on there. And then our bills are pretty, again, common recurring, nothing too remarkable in here. I just wanted to point out check number 69028. We only pay that once a year for actuarial services for our OPEB, which is required for the audit. So otherwise, you'll see through here, we do have some small expenses, final expenses coming through for each of the contractors for the CTE building, but otherwise, just normal bills as usual. Do you have any questions on anything?
The Nielsen blacktopping, was that the tennis repair, the tennis court repair? Okay.
Okay. Julie, do you want to make a motion for that?
I think there was a question about the Nielsen contracting. Did we get that answered?
Yes.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just
Yes.
wanted to make sure it was before I did the motion.
Oh.
So then with that question being answered, I'll make a motion then to approve the wire transfers for September 7th, 2023 to September 20th, 2023, and payment of the September 26th, 2023 bills.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Mari. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. We have no old business, so we'll move on to new business. Proposed 2023 payable 2024 tax levy. Jessica?
Yes, so now is the time to certify the proposed levy. Most of that is based on MDE's calculation, which is based on our student enrollment. And so at this time, MDE's calculation is currently proposing a 2.74 increase, 2.74% increase over last year's levy amount. So that will add about $172,000 from last year's levy to this year's levy. And then, like I said, MDE is still working on numbers. We've been getting a couple of emails letting us know that they're updating figures, and they can do that through September 30th. So we recommend, like you've done in the past, to certify the maximum levy to allow for any adjustments that they have to make.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions on that? Otherwise, I will make a motion to approve the proposed 2023 payable 2024 tax levy to the maximum amount available.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Jen, to approve the proposed 2023 payable 2024 tax levy to the maximum amount available at 2.74%. Any discussion?
And just a reminder that if there are any adjustments that come from Minnesota Department of Education, we can lower that amount if necessary, but we cannot raise what we would approve here tonight. So I think that's a very good number.
And as Jessica noted, we're not approving the number tonight specifically because of those allowable adjustments. Just to clarify that the motion on the table that I heard is to approve the maximum allowable.
Right. The truth in taxation will be when we approve the actual levy, correct?
That's, Jessica, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, so at that meeting, you will, people will get their dollar amount based on what we certify September 30th, and then we'll, do that, and then yes, you will certify the final number that night.
Okay. Just leads me into my next motion, that's all.
Sure.
I think it's important. It's not the maximum amount available, it's the maximum amount as dictated by law through the Minnesota Department of Education. We have no control over what that levy number is. They actually tell us what that number is, and that's in accordance with law. It's not like an availability thing that we're choosing. It's chosen for us. We can't do more.
Correct.
We could do less, but the other thing I think is important, and this is much different than our county and city counterparts, they determine their budget and then they set their levy based on what their budget is. We are told what our levy amount is from the state, and then we set our budget based on that. It's the exact opposite. And I think every year, one of us points this out. Since we have members of media here, it's important for them to hear us say it as well, that it is the opposite of what you see at the city and the county, but the functionality of it is the same in that we can reduce it by the end of the year at that truth and taxation meeting. And the last thing I'd like to comment on, I think it's important to distinguish that a levy is not a percentage that is an increase of your property tax. That is not a tax increase, it's a levy percentage increase, which is a different formula entirely on how it actually would apply to your property taxes. So that's another clarification point that I think that we should always make this time of year.
Thank you, Mike. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Policy, or truth and taxation hearing, Julie?
Yep, so annually, our district is required to hold a truth and taxation hearing to review with the community the proposed tax levy. As in previous years, it will be scheduled on the night of our first meeting in December, which falls at the scheduled time at December 12th. Hearing will begin after the board meeting concludes, but it cannot begin before 6 p.m. as directed by law. So I would make a motion that we approve scheduling the truth and taxation hearing for Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, after 6 p.m.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Julie, second by Mari, to approve the truth and taxation hearing for December 12th, 2023, after 6 p.m. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Policy revisions, Jen.
So the policy committee met again on September 21st, and we continued the review of our current recommended MSBA revisions. Several policies were tabled. Revised policy 708 is enclosed in Appendix C and is on the agenda for full board approval. I motion to approve the revised policy 708, transportation of non-public students.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Jen, a second by Mike, to approve policy 708 as presented. Any discussion?
Were there any significant changes on that or no?
Let's see.
That one, there was not. Some of the changes were minor, and honestly, the changes that were recommended were things that we already were enacting in terms of transportation in our arrangements with our local parochial and non-public schools. So we were ahead of the curve in our application. The policy just shored up some of that language because obviously it applies to all schools, districts in the
Right.
state of Minnesota. So those were the main focal points.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we don't have to make any changes to what we're doing currently.
Correct.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Student participation fees, Dan?
At our Operations Committee meeting on September 18th, we reviewed the fees for student activities for junior high and senior high, both athletics and fine arts. And we did get a very good breakdown of the amount of money that is raised by the activities and compared to the total cost of running these activities. So that was very enlightening. Appreciate the work on that. With that, we recommend no changes for the next school year in any of the athletics or fine arts fees.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dan, a second by Mike, to approve the participation fees as presented in Appendix D for the 2023-24 school year. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Personnel, Mike, resignations?
We have a resignation that we should accept. Make a motion to approve the resignation of Linda Hughes, who is a EL teacher.
second? Thank you, Mari. We have a motion by Mike, second by Mari, to approve the resignation of Linda Hughes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Retirement, Jen?
Ned Adams, he was a high school custodian, will be retiring November 30th. Ned has served as a custodian for over 17 years. So I motion to approve the retirement of Ned Adams effective November 3rd, 2023.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Jen, second by Julie, to approve the retirement of Ned Adams, custodian, effective November 30th, 2023. Any discussion?
I'll just add on both these individuals, again, a thank you for their service to our district. Different circumstances lead to these decisions, and we're grateful for both of them and the time that they've served. You know, Linda brought a new perspective for us, and that program has only grown in her time here, so we appreciate that and those contributions, and Ned has served our district for a long time, and I know when our board agenda was released, there was at least one public member that commented what happens if we don't accept the retirement. So I got to see Ned in the office this morning, and I gave him a hard time about that, but all good-natured, and thank you to both of them for their service to our district.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, then, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to board committee reports. Superintendent appraisal, Mike?
Yes, last board meeting, which was September 12th, we met in closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13B to do a performance evaluation of our superintendent. Upon completion of that evaluation, which lasted approximately 2 hours, we came into open session and immediately adjourned. It did not provide any commentary since it was dark and no one else was here. I can tell you that Superintendent Trado received exemplary remarks from the board. We discussed all the things that he's doing wonderfully, which is most of the things that he's working on. We discussed a few opportunities for continued growth. This is Mr. Trado's going into his now 3rd year on the job, and it was unanimous in that our expectations have been met and many times exceeded, and we look forward to continuing to work with Mr. Trado for many years to come.
Thank you. I think what's remarkable is this is Superintendent Tradow's starting third year with our district, but it's also his first time being a superintendent. And we are very, very fortunate to have him and not only his expertise, but his willingness to learn and to grow and to go the extra mile to do what needs to be done. And we very much appreciate it and feel very fortunate as a district to have him at the helm. So thank you, Superintendent Tradow. CER Advisory Council, Mari.
We talked about some policy actions going forward with registrations and timeframes. The fall brochure is out online. Deadlines for registration are approaching quickly, so register soon. They do have paper copies at the SMEC building if someone would rather have that. There is a new exciting STEM offering for kids. Look for family open gyms and roller skating events late fall and early winter. And they're looking at possibly changing to another platform for registrations, but that's about a year out. So, and the next meeting is October, I believe, the 10th.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Mari.
Did I miss Andy?
You hit it. Good work.
Any questions for Mari? All right, thank you. Operations Committee meeting, Dan?
As mentioned earlier, Monday, September 18th, we met. We had a large agenda. We talked about the Hunt Farm property that the school district currently owns and rents out for an area farmer to plant crops on. We are going to be doing a discussion here at the end of our regular open meeting tonight in closed session, because that is allowed by Minnesota state law to talk about action on the Hunt Farm. We got a presentation from Jessica on the preliminary levy that we approved tonight. We had a review of classifications for rental fees and associated costs, looking at perhaps simplifying or changing the schedule to make sure what we're charging for use of our facilities is accurate. We're working on a final draft for that to be brought to the full board in the future. We talked about the student participation fees, which we left unchanged. We got a facility usage summary from CER about the number of hours and different programs used in different buildings. We had a discussion about the substitute teacher pay rates, and there is currently a proposal or adjustments to that schedule that I imagine will be brought forward in a future meeting here. CER summary and participation, over 1,400 enrollees this summer. The school will be having their annual audit on October 23rd from Eide Bailey. And Tyler Garrison, our Director of Building and Grounds, made a presentation concerning the more than 100 ash trees that we have on our school property. And with emerald ash borer in Fairmont and in Martin County, it is very likely that we are going to be losing all these trees. So we have a plan coming up in place to remove and replace those ash trees. We did apply for a state grant, and I don't know if that came through or not. No, it didn't. But it is a pretty large project. You consider 105 trees across all of our different school district properties. So that is something that we'll have to take care of in the next 3 or 4 years.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Policy Committee meeting. Jen, you were not there, right?
Correct.
Julie, do you want to comment?
I will do just a brief update, and it's a work in progress. We went through some of the ones that we did review. Some we chose that didn't need to come back for board approval because there was little change to them at all. And some we, found that we missed, so we're going to bring back to our meetings. We have planned meetings twice this next month in October, which we hope to kind of reach the end of that. And yet to, again, Superintendent Trado may also, with his update coming from this meeting from the policy, may come with some updates for us, and so we can maybe finish with that as well. So otherwise, nothing else. We did bring the one for tonight for approval. So
Thank you, Julie. Any questions for Julie? All right, Jen, continuing Ed.
Yeah, we met yesterday via Google Meet. We decided that we'll meet via Google Meet again this year. We did that last year. We're setting our time for 3:30 as our start time. We went through our membership with a possible rotation schedule in that. Kim will be sending the membership committee to the state. She has to get that in by November 1st. The committee this is one of the bigger changes, the committee was updated on the new American Indian history and culture requirements for this coming renewal. For this current school year, the cultural competency requirement will cover that American Indian requirement. So that was a big one to make sure that they know that it's still covered under that competency. We reviewed the bylaws and didn't make any changes to that. Let's see, we'll send out requirements scheduled and put by cognito training. I didn't say that right. In parentheses behind the suicide prevention. And then we approved the vector training. And our next meeting is scheduled for November 28th, but that's only if approvals are needed. If no approvals are needed, then our next meeting won't be until February 27th of 2024.
Thank you, Jen.
That was it.
Any questions for Jen?
I'll just add that just for those listening in or watching, the Continuing Education Committee just to clarify, is adult focused. Like, this is for our professionals in our district, for their continuing education hours that they need for relicensure requirements and things of that nature. So as Jen's talking through those topics, those are for all of us that have approved under the Professional Education Licensing Board. All of our teaching licenses, administrative licenses have renewal cycles and hourly requirements. So Jen serves on that committee with other school representatives, and it's an important part of what we do. But if you look at it from continuing education, that could mean a lot of things in our profession. But just wanted to clarify that it is an adult-focused committee that she's on to make sure all of our teachers are appropriately licensed.
Thank you for that clarification. All right, if there's no other questions about board committee reports, we'll move on to closed board meeting.
Make a motion that board move into closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05. Purpose of closed session would be specifically to discuss real estate owned by the district, locally known as the Hunt Farm, which is a multi-parcel farming property located approximately at the intersection of Martin County Road 39 and Interstate 90. Second.
A motion by Mike, second by Dan, to enter into closed meeting to discuss the Hunt Farm property. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll now proceed to closed session.